Right, obviously, right now, everybody's asking the same question. Because of the current situation, is there going to be some form of distress deals in the market that I can take advantage of? And surely now is the time to move, because a lot of people have been waiting for something to happen. And I get it. When the news cycle is like this and instincts tell you to wait, to hold, and to wait to see when price cracks. All right, but the best thing to do in this scenario is just look at the data. And the data doesn't have an opinion, and it just tells you exactly what people are doing with their money at this moment. And what I'm seeing this week is a different story to what the headlines are portraying. You can read the people in threads with all their things they want to say, etc. But the data is the data. Okay, so we're going to look at Dubai first, and I'm going to look at transactions that probably a lot of people would skip, and this is the rental market transactions, because this is an area that kind of shows that people are staying. All right, so Dubai registered 8,000. Let's just head over here. Dubai registered 8,737 rental contracts last 6 days. All right, and of those rental contracts, 5,820 were new rental contracts and 2,897 were renewals. Okay, if you think that actually means these are not investors buying off-plan property looking to flip, this is real people, families, professionals, residents in the market who have decided to rent out a new apartment, or they feel safe enough to just stay where they are. And that isn't the sign of a market that is rattled by some form of conflict. Okay, and I think the number as well is the amount of renewals. When you think about people, when they've signed in a Jari, or they've put that 10% or 5% down as a deposit, they could easily, if they wanted, bin that 5% and go stay in some short-term accommodation, stay out for like a month or 2 months and see what happens, and then make a decision. But they didn't do that. They went ahead and they have stayed. So this is not a distressed rental market. It's functioning. It's an occupied city, and the rental demand is the foundation of pretty much everything else that is built on. And even if we look at some of the transactions that are going on, there is some big transactions here. You have a 3-year rental deal for Dubai Mall at 27 million. You've got Emirates Hills villa here for 8.8 million. And further down, you can pick them out if you want. I mean, this is all here for you to see. Arabian Ranches, you got a 1.25 million. Kapinski, 2-year contract at 3.3 million. Let's head over to page 3. Business Bay, you've got a contract here for 861,000. You've got Bulgari Resort Residences. You've got a 2-bedroom apartment here at 850,000. So yeah, people are continuing to stay, and these are big rental contracts. This is not scared money. Okay. Now let's just go over and look at the Abu Dhabi sales data. All right. Because the numbers in here should really give the confidence that this is not a distress market, and really put that narrative on some form of pause for the time being. In the last 7 days or 6 days, there have been 817 transactions, and this is across off-plan resale and secondary. Okay. And if you think about each of these transactions, if somebody's buying something that's off-plan, or somebody's buying something that is a secondary, they have already put down about 10%. Like if it's a secondary, they put down a 10% deposit, and they have decided after 30 days, even in this current situation, they want to continue and carry on with the purchase, whether it's with cash or via mortgage. And then you have those who have bought off-plan property or an off-plan resale who are quite happy to continue and sign the SPA and go through the transaction. All right. So what people are describing as a regional conflict is, it's not having that much effect at the moment. Okay. And that is not the behavior of a market in distress. That is the behavior of people who have looked at the numbers, assessed the risk, and decided that Abu Dhabi is still where it is and where they want to be. Okay. And some of the transactions here as well, they are quite large. So you've got, for example, a 6-bedroom villa on Heed and Saadiyat at 88 million. You have a Four Seasons private residence at 68 million. A 5-bed duplex, I think it is, on Fahid Beach Residence at 65 million. Fountain View residences are all transacting at about 25 million here, and there's one up here which is a 40 million transaction. So what's the trend here? Saadiyat is doing a significant amount of the heavy lifting for the kind of super prime segment. And these buyers at 25 million, 40 million, up to 88 million, they're not people who panic. They are high net worth individuals who have done their analysis, and they are making long-term capital preservation decisions. And the fact that they transacted this week in this environment tells you something, So yeah, that's that. All right, so let's just kind of chat through the distress narrative at the moment. There will be some investors who are overextended. They have maybe taken on too many off-plan commitments, and they find themselves in a difficult position. All right, but this happens in every market cycle and in every city, every economic environment. It's not unique to this moment, really. And here's why I caution against it, because there's a difference between individual financial stress and actual market level distress. They're two completely different things. Market distress only really shows up when transaction collapse, when in price capitulation. Okay, and developers maybe like pulling launches, or they don't want to, there's a change in dynamics on what's kind of happening in the city. And what we're seeing at the moment is none of that. We are seeing 817 transactions in Abu Dhabi, and we're seeing 88 million dirham secondary deals in Saadiyat closing. And we're seeing rental markets in Dubai with 5,800 new contracts in a week. So if you're waiting for Abu Dhabi or Dubai to kind of roll over, in a sense, the data right now is not giving you that. All right. Now, that doesn't mean that prices go up in a straight line. It doesn't mean that every project is a buy. Okay, and it absolutely doesn't mean that you should be making decisions without understanding your own capital position and target yield. But the idea that distressed deals are coming is not a strategy, it's a hope dressed up as some form of analysis. Okay, and now it's probably the biggest takeaway from this week really is that the market isn't frozen. It's not capitulating. The people with serious capital are still transacting, and on Saadiyat, obviously, they're transacting at prices that are they're pushing new ceilings on the price per square foot. And that is the fundamental case for Abu Dhabi. It hasn't really shifted. The supply is still constrained. Demand from high net worth individuals is still active, and buyers who understand what they're buying and why, they're not waiting for a distress moment, because the numbers don't support it yet. And I think that's important to understand. So stay grounded in the data, make decisions from numbers and not the noise. All right. And if you're actively looking in Abu Dhabi right now, say, and you want to talk through what the data means for your position, and you drop me a message. All good. Cheers.